Hey there, are you interested in potentially investing in multifamily syndications? If so, you might be wondering, well, what kind of mindset do I need to have to invest? Because a lot of people don't have the mindset for that. For some reason, they're interested, but they actually never pull the trigger. And we get a lot of questions about what do I need to do to pull that trigger? What kind of mindset do I have? And to help us kind of get to the bottom of that is Bronson Hill, our Director of Investor Relations. Hey, Bronson, how's it going today?
Good, Michael. How are you? It's good to be here today. Yeah, I wanted to just bring this up. This comes up quite a bit on calls as people are basically trying to see themselves. What does it look like for me to do this? What sort of mindset? How do I get open to this idea of investing and becoming a passive investor? So I guess that's one question that I have for you is what type of mindset's required to be a passive investor?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, you and I are very excited about the multifamily syndication because you get cash flow. You don't get that from the stock market and really anything else. The returns are actually far above anything you can get in the stock market, especially over a longer period of time. And the tax advantages are outrageously awesome, right? So we're so excited, and we talk to people, and people are they're nodding their head, they're going, "Yeah, this is great, this is great," and then they don't do anything, right? And the question is why? And you're talking about this mindset thing, and it is truly a mindset thing. It's not that they don't have the money; they already have it invested. Most of it in the stock market with mutual funds, or so it's not that. And what is it? And I think it's this. I think most people don't have an open mind. They have a closed mind, and the reason is because no one they know invests in anything else but the stock market. Worse, their financial advisor, who most likely manages their money, never invest in anything else except for the stock market mutual funds. That's all they know. That's all they're really licensed to do, frankly. And that's the only thing they get compensated on if you think about it, right? So you pull money out from your financial advisor, they're going to get paid less. So therefore, why would they advise you to invest in something like oil, gold, or multifamily syndications? It doesn't make any sense. So there's a conflict of interest there, coupled with the fact that most financial advisors don't know anything else but the stock market. And that makes it really, really difficult for the average investor to want to say yes to something else, such as multifamily syndication. So, in order to be open to this, I always say where there's a will, there's a way, and when there's no will, there's no way. So, the first one is, the investor has to have an open mind and a willingness to listen and possibly learn.
Yeah, there's a saying that you don't know what you don't know. So the idea of being open is it just allows you to really see your blind spots and what you could potentially be open to. And that's what we're doing in this call is being open to something that maybe you haven't thought about before as an investor. So another thing that I see a lot where I see a lot of people, once they kind of get to a certain level of openness, Michael, there's this thing called analysis paralysis where they get there and they just kind of, they look at a million things and then they don't do anything. So why does analysis paralysis like stop so many people?
It stops everyone. It's not just passive investors; it's anyone. Active investors as well. And I think it's really because it's new, and new scares people, right? Change, new. I mean, like even my kids. Like here's the thing. So I make my kids. I make them try some kind of new food, right? And they're like, "No, I don't want that." Well, why don't you want that? Well, I don't like it. Well, how do you know? You never tried it before. So I make them eat it, and they're like, make a face and like, oh, it's actually pretty good. And then all of a sudden they like it. Why did they say no in the beginning? Not because the food wasn't good. I've never tried it before. They said no because they never had it before. And I think a lot of people are like that. It's new and it scares them and it pushes them outside our comfort zone. But, as the saying goes, growth happens outside your comfort zone, right? If we're always in our comfort zone, we'll actually never grow. So in order to grow with anything, if we're going to grow our stock portfolio or portfolio net worth, we're going to have to operate just outside the comfort zone. And so from a mindset perspective, once someone opens up their mind, that's the fundamental requirement. But after that, for someone to take action, they actually have to feel comfortable being just outside, being outside their comfort zone.
That's great. No, I can totally relate with that. I've been there many times, but just the idea of actually staying in that, it just feels a little bit uncomfortable, trying something new. And I have a daughter, I can relate with that story about the food. And it sounds, I feel like we're all big kids that just don't want to try a different kind of food because
Sure.
I love the food that I already know. So Michael, in wrapping up here, what's something that investors can do to help develop a better mindset as a passive investor going forward?
Yeah, I mean, one thing to act outside your comfort zone and to be where you are naturally is to expand your comfort zone. So yeah, you can be outside the comfort zone, but you don't want to be what I call in the panic zone. Panic zone is like, you're not growing. You're like, you're ready to jump off a cliff. So don't be there. You want to expand your comfort zone, and there's two great ways to do that. Number one is to educate yourself about alternative investments. Really open your mind about that and really learn about various different kinds of alternative investments. And multifamily syndications is, in my opinion, one of the best, but it's not the only one, right? There's also gold for hedging against inflation and preserving wealth. There's oil for a whole different thing, right? So educate yourself about the investment you're thinking of making. For example, we have this great free report. It compares the stock market to investing in real estate. You can get it at themichaelblank.com/report. And it's a really great segue into educating yourself about this alternative investment called multifamily syndications. What are the pros and cons, and how does that compare to the stock market? It might actually shock and surprise you when you read that. So educate yourself. Number two, meet other investors. And a great way to meet other investors is at conferences and live events, right? Joe Fairless has a great conference. The real estate guys have syndication conferences. We have ours, Bronson, as you know, in July, called
Can't wait.
Dealmaker Live, July 16 to 18 at the Hilton Anatole in Dallas, where we had it last year. So I encourage you guys to come to that and talk to other investors. And when you go there, it just occurs to you you're not actually crazy, because there's a whole bunch of crazy. The whole room is full of crazy people, right? And all of a sudden, you're not as crazy as you thought you might. And number three, really, is just to start small. Right, a lot of us have minimum investments of $50,000 or $75,000, and just start with someone, talk to a bunch of operators, get comfortable with them, and then just start the process. That doesn't mean that you have to fire a financial advisor. No, just start the process and see how it goes, see how the operator does, see how the reporting, see the cash flow, and then see if you want to expand that investment.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I have a mentor in real estate, and they said there's really two things that are going to help you the most. And the first is networking, and the second is education. You get that from live events, you get that from local meetups. As far as networking, as far as the education, you look into different investments. You, like Michael mentioned, this report, so I'm going to tell you where that is. But I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time. This is also part of education when you're watching this video. So you're actually investing in yourself as you're doing this, and that's honestly one of the best things you can do is do videos like this. Another way Michael mentioned it, it's this report that he put together is very comprehensive, comparing the stock market and multifamily syndication. It's a great report, themichaelblank.com /report. So you can check that out. And then if you are ready to take that next step, you're saying, hey, I really would love to get involved and see some of your deals. And what are you guys doing at Nighthawk? We're doing we're doing deals very regularly, large apartment deals. And you can find out more about that at nighthawkequity.com. And you can click the join button and you can join our investment club and set up a call with me. We'll be able to talk with you about it. So thanks again for taking the time. We really exist. We do these videos to help you with financial freedom, and that's really our passion. So thank you for taking the time and allowing us to talk with you about this. We'll see you on the next video.